Welcome to Doug in Exile. Tish James is toast. That's the theme of this. We're going to show you the evidence and developments of this case, that it's all good news so far for Trump. This is part of fixing the government in a way that you absolutely have to fix it to get rid of this kind of dark evil that Tish James and really Merrick Garland, the Biden administration, and the Barack Obama state people tried to push against the American people, and this is how we reverse it. Here's Newsmax on Tish James.
Big Tish is in big trouble. New York Attorney General Letitia James, the queen of dishing it out but can't take it, indicted on charges of mortgage fraud.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General.
You know, I guess she did do her job because she did fulfill her promise of going after Trump. If you remember, she even made it her campaign platform.
America is an uncharted territory. We are angrier and more deeply divided than we've ever been at any point in our history since the Civil War. And at the eye of the storm is Donald Trump.
I think we can make all of our cases against Letitia James just using Letitia James's own words. That is, everything that Letitia James said about Trump on getting him and his mortgage fraud and the criteria that she uses, you can just use just her quotes and apply them to Letitia James and hang her on her own words. That is, she should be arrested and go to jail and, of course, indicted, and she'll go before a court of law and get the same justice Trump did, just based on her words, not based on Trump using his brand new criteria against her, but using Letitia James's entire criteria that she used against Trump. Here's a little more detail on it. This is Sam Antar. I like featuring him here because he's the one that really followed all and broke all of Letitia James's real estate fraud. He's the one that really went public with it. Now, here's his quote on the New York Times just accidentally proved Letitia James committed systemic fraud while trying to defend her. So that's why I thought this one was especially delicious. Here's their article, The Mortgage Fraud Case Against Letitia James didn't explain it. They buried the most damaging evidence. Here's the trap they created. The New York Times had three bylines: John Bromwich, Katie Kelly, and Stefanos Chen. Three reporters read the indictment. All three somehow failed to mention paragraph 9. Now, this is going to be key if all three of the people in the article will not mention paragraph 9. Makes you wonder, well, what's in paragraph 9? What's in paragraph 9? Tish James told Universal Property Insurance the Norfolk property was, quote, owner-occupied, non-seasonal use, unquote. Now, why did the New York Times leave that paragraph out of their article? That tells you everything. This is brilliant sleuth work. It's all you need to know. But wait, there's more, he says, which is one of my favorite quotes. But wait, there's more. She told OVM Financial Bank, the second home, to get 3% interest instead of, it's 3.0% interest instead of 3.8% interest. She told insurance owner occupied, likely for lower premiums. She told the IRS it was a rental property, 0 personal use days to claim maximum tax deductions. That's 3 other lines of fraud and deception. And she knows. She's done enough real estate to know. You say one story to the IRS, you say one story to the city, one story to the insurance company to maximize the benefit to you. She told the New York State it was an investment property. So all of these lies. Now, I could read this whole thing. I hope I'm making the case about as clear as possible. It's really simple. Letitia James is crooked. She knows she's crooked. The Democrats are saying this is weaponized government when, if you and I did what Letitia did and they found out we were a Republican, we'd go to jail or get the fine. If a Democrat does what Letitia did, they get off the hook. So literally, this is the two-tiered justice system. Here's Jim Jordan.
President Trump named 3 people in that Truth Social post to Attorney General Pam Bondi that he wanted prosecuted.
Okay, so the naming of people is a form of weaponizing government, according to Dana Bash. And I just want to say, we all know Letitia James named a certain person when she ran for candidate, said, I'm going to get Trump. So is this evidence to Dana Bash that will she apply it to Letitia James? No.
Two of them have now been indicted. You're not only the Judiciary Chair, you also lead a subcommittee on weaponization of federal government. So will you be looking into this?
Well, look, I think that this Justice Department is applying the facts to the law. I mean, if John Bolton, a federal judge, thought there was probable cause when they searched John Bolton's house, you had mentioned him, that he mishandled classified information, apply the facts to the law. We'll see if they prosecute there. We know with Letitia James, for example, that you can't say it's your secondary residence and then, in fact, make it an investment property. It looks like she did that. They're applying the facts to the law, and there's that investigation. And of course, we know with Jim Comey that he specifically hired this individual, Daniel Richman, to leak information.
Dana Bash isn't listening to any of this. Look at her eyes, glazed over. She does not care. Specific points. She's just going to keep coming back and saying, but will your weaponization of government committee look into
information? He laundered information through Richmond, leaked that information out there. The Comey memos, for goodness sake, went through Mr. Richmond. And then Comey, when he testifies, says something different. So that's why he's being prosecuted. So this is our Justice Department under the leadership of the Attorney General applying the facts to the law like you are supposed to, not the weaponization of government like we saw under Biden, like we saw under Merrick Garland, like we saw with Chris Wray. So this is, I think, a completely different situation.
Okay, so let's just unpack some of that, if I may, Mr. Chairman. You were talking about the facts and some of the issues that went before the grand jury and allowed for the indictments in the case of James and Comey.
Yeah, they went before a grand jury. Remember that. And a grand jury, unpoliticized, looked at the facts around Letitia James and said, yes, there's something here to go after.
But the question is beyond what's happening in the courtrooms or in the Justice Department. It's what's happening between the President of the United States and the Justice Department and these U.S. attorneys. And just kind of look at it big picture, the President pushed out the U.S. attorney overseeing the Comey and James cases.
Good.
The president himself appointed this U.S. attorney, and that person was a Trump supporter.
Which he has the right to do.
Right. He has the right to do. But the president did so because he thought that this man was not pursuing these cases against his political enemies. So my question...
No, not the man wasn't pursuing the cases against his political enemies. He believed the man was not pursuing the law, is another way of putting it. See, all Jim Jordan's going to do is say, this is the facts, this is the law, this is how our system works. It's the same thing that every Democrat said against Trump. It's just facts. It's just a grand jury. This is, I don't see any politics here. So I'm only saying in this case, we must say the same thing. If there's no politics for the other side and we do the same thing to them, then there is, in fact, no politics on our side. For our side to hold back and say, hey, this is the weaponization of government, we have to stop this. That is the rules only applying one way, and therefore false, because that's not what a rule is. A rule must be applied the same way, apples to apples, oranges to oranges. If the Trump going after Letitia is the same as Letitia going after Trump, then those are the rules. It's not a breach of rules. It is the only rule that we know that we've lived under for 4 years. And no Democrat started a weaponization of government thing and went after Letitia James. We're going to investigate Letitia James, Alvin Bragg, Judge Engeron, Fani Willis on the weaponization of government. Juan Merchan, none. They didn't call that weaponization. So they don't care about the weaponization of government. Here's DC Drano. Biden used $1 billion in American tax dollars as leverage to get a prosecutor to stop investigating his son's bribery scheme. Trump was going to expose it, so they impeached him. Arrest everyone involved in this cover-up. This is the newest person we're going to go after. Adam Schiff, Trump announces. The Ukraine impeachment of me scam was far bigger illegal hoax than Watergate. I sincerely hope the necessary authorities, including the Congress, are looking into this. That's all he's saying. And then Trump's telling you what's coming next. Adam Schiff was so dishonest and corrupt. So many laws and protocols were violated and just plain broken. President Donald J. Trump. He's doing it in public. The difference is Biden and Garland did this behind the scenes and then denied it. Trump's doing it in public. So everyone knows now. Here's the killer. Mike Davis on Letitia James.
Joining me now with more on all of this is Matt Taibbi. He is editor-in-chief of Racket News, and Mike Davis. He is president of the Article 3 Project. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Let me first get your reaction to all of this. Matt Taibbi.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Comey case, especially with the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, all the Crossfire investigations, I thought at the time those should have been enormous Watergate level stories because it was about surveillance of a major party presidential candidate. Now I think in conjunction with Arctic frost, you have all these senators who are finally seeing that domestic political surveillance has been a major unreported problem in this country for a long time.
Wow.
Unreported because of mainstream media. So it's a big deal, bigger than Watergate, but he's going, why wasn't it reported on? Why didn't anyone make a big deal about it? Well, the left doesn't own media anymore.
Oh, well, yeah, we just spoke with a senator who was really affected. Bill Hagerty was tracked, and he said it happened to him 3 times. Mike, is all of this connected? We've been covering, obviously, the Russia collusion lie for a decade, and my viewers are well aware that it was fake from day one. But do you think this is all connected, and is this enough to create a conspiracy charge against Jim Comey and his friends who were part of that cabal?
Yeah, those indictments we just saw for Comey and Tish James are the appetizer indictments. And the big one, the main course, is going to be the conspiracy against rights under 18 USC Section 241. I've publicly called for this for the last 3+ years since the Mar-a-Lago raid. Remember this with the Russian collusion hoax. The Democrats made this up to help Hillary Clinton's campaign, to cover up her corruption, and to take out presidential candidate Donald Trump. They failed. President Trump went into office, and so they tried to destroy him while he was in office, and they tried to destroy him with the lawfare because he declassified Crossfire Hurricane before he left office the first time.
That's the crime. Conspiracy against rights is the big one. I believe that'll be last. It'll take a while. They have to stack up all of these cases first, but it's going to end. The frosting on the cake is going to be a massive conspiracy against rights, and that would involve Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Barack Obama for sure at the very top. And then everyone below them. That's when you get the others, Comer, Brennan, Clapper, all the generals, everyone at the FBI, Christopher Wray, they're all below that. The top 3 that started it all, it's going to be Obama, maybe Biden. He's too dumb, probably, but Hillary Clinton. That's my theory on it. Wait, look, this is a rare moment. Lindsey Graham, with a backbone, on Meet the Press this weekend, defending Trump. Listen to this. Listen to. He's almost talking like a manly man here.
You think that crosses a line between the Justice Department being independent from the executive branch?
I think our Justice Department in the hands of Biden crossed every line there is to cross. I think within 3 days of announcing he was going to run for president in 2024, he did that in 2022.
But what about Trump?
He had 91 indictments.
What about Trump? What about Trump? I love Lindsey Graham here. Look at him coming out. I love quoting my enemies, Lindsey Graham. So this is Lindsey Graham, I think 8.0, maybe 9.0 now. We're on the 9th version of Lindsey Graham.
What about
Now, I think the grand jury is going to take care of this, but you didn't care any about this. You didn't care that Letitia James made up charges that no one's ever faced.
But Senator Biden never publicly called for Trump to be indicted.
He had 90. Biden regretted that they didn't do it before the election. Jack Smith surveilled my phone records and 8 other senators. Jack Smith introduced his brief against Trump October the 24th before the 2024 election, violating every protocol just to politicize the election. So this may bother you that people are being held accountable. It doesn't bother me one damn bit.
Doesn't bother Lindsey Graham with a cuss word, one DAMN bit. Doesn't bother me one bit either. This is a very cool tack that the Republican Party is taking in response to this whole thing. Jim Jordan, this is not after what you guys did to us. This is nothing. Lindsey Graham, Mike Davis, just go right down the line. Our side is united. Maybe we don't quite have a Thomas Massey on there, but even Rand Paul, came out and said, yeah, this is the way you acted. This is what you got to do. I'm hearing that more and more from the Republican middle, which is important because that argument is gaining ground. The idea that you have to reciprocate on the Democrats, not in an act of revenge, but in an act of justice, using their justice that they establish the terms of back on them. Letitia James, I hope she gets hammered in court. The grand jury's on her right now and saying this is going to happen. It's going to take a while for this whole thing to go through. I hope she's guilty. I hope she goes to prison. I hope everything that they wanted to do to Trump happens to them for just reasons. I'm Doug in Exile, Part 2 of the Double Wide coming right up. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats mourn as Trump brings peace to the world. As hostages are reunited with their family, tears come to Democrats' eyes in horror and sadness as wars end, as families are reunited. This is against the Democrat brand. Welcome to Doug in Exile, the second half of the Double Wide. This is just evil. Chuck Schumer, if you're not disgusted at the beginning of this video, well, now you're going to get disgusted.
It is just such a hallmark of tyrannical, autocratic dictatorship societies that they use the prosecutorial department as a political weapon. It is
Who did that, Chuck? Who did that, Chuck? He missed one part too. Horrible, tyrannical. They not only use it as a political weapon, but they project it on their opponents and never see it in themselves. That's where I think we'll conclude. Chuck!
disgrace, and every American, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, moderate, people should be forcefully rising up against this. It is just
people should be forcefully rising up against this. And what do you mean by that, Chuck? Are you threatening again? Is this you will reap the whirlwind, Kavanaugh? People should forcefully be rising up. Force? What kind of force? Shooting Charlie Kirk in the neck kind of force? You scum. Now, I'm going to cleanse your mind of that disgusting Chuck Schumer, who will not give credit to Trump. This video, oh man, this one just made me cry. This is the dad. He's in a wheelchair. His son, a hostage, comes home and he stands out of his wheelchair to embrace his son. This is what really angers Chuck Schumer. Stand up forcefully and stop Trump from putting this father and son back together. Their cries of anguish, by the way, their cries of anguish do nothing. They move not one Democrats. Here's all the Democrats incapable of thanking Trump for his speech. The text is a little small, so I'm going to show you all of the ones that cannot give him credit. Here's Elizabeth Warren. For 2 excruciating years, I have called the return of the hostage, blah, blah. No credit for Trump. Adam Schiff, no credit for Trump. Mike Warner. All of these people are demanding peace in the Middle East. Spanberger, Nancy Pelosi, Wyden, Eric Swalwell, home. So happy to hear the news. May this 2-year-old nightmare has finally ended. Who? Name the name. Say his name. They would always say at Black Lives Matter. Say their name. Say their name. Say his name. Thank you, Donald Trump. You won't say it. Kathy Hochul, Richard Blumenthal, all of these people, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, they hate reality right now. Democrats are furious. They're going, how are we going to win if Trump keeps doing this? Here's Megyn Kelly on calling out Elizabeth Warren. You're so gross. Trump did it. Just say it. Democrats won't say it. So Chuck Schumer is saying forcefully go out in the streets and protest against Trump, but they won't come out and even kindly or timidly thank Trump for what he did. Here's the moment Aiton Moore reunites with his parents. That's a father smothering his son in kisses. This is the Trump effect. This is what a rude man who says you can grab a woman by the pee. That's what that man did. You can grab a woman by the hoo-hoo. Ted Cruz's wife is ugly, making fun of disabled people. That's what he did. He's the kind of guy that does this. This is Trump and no one else. No one else would have done it. Here's the scumbags at the New York Times saying Trump failed to get the hostages out sooner. Why now? The lost chances to reach a hostage deal and a ceasefire months ago, says the New York Times. Disgusting Democrat ghouls and animals. Wait, there's more. Here's a black man out in Memphis. The media's told us blacks didn't support Trump sending the National Guard to Memphis. All I want to say is Trump's doing a good thing, and here he is, okay? This is what this black guy says in Memphis.
All I want to say is, Trump, you're doing your big thing, man. We got the kids back outside on their bikes. The lawnmower's back going, the dog's back barking. Memphis is looking real good out here, man. Hey, man, you did your big one, man. Appreciate you for helping cleaning up Memphis. Hey, MPD, well, I don't even know what to say about y'all.
I don't know what to say about the Memphis PD, but kids are back on their bicycles and riding them outside in Memphis. That's the Trump effect. That's what every Democrat despises. They want the kids hiding in their homes, terrified, instead of riding their bikes in peace, because it means Trump might win and Democrats might lose their power. Wait, here's another one. These are the brothers, David and Ariel Cuneo, held captive by terrorists for 2 years, finally reunite with their family. Watch this. This is making them really upset. Democrats are going to have to pay double for therapy this week. They're going to have to do double therapy sessions and go, what are we going to do? This Trump guy, I'm going to make a case later, guys, that we should be praying for Trump, because the next step is for the Democrats to kill him. That's the next step. Or the devil. I mean, the devil might have gotten that idea from the Democrats. I'm not sure. Look at these lovers. This is them separated on October 7th, okay? The man on the left and the woman screaming on the right as her lover was taken away from her on October 7th. Now, fast forward, here they are today reunited. They are in love and together, and that's the one that got me the most. I know that I love families getting back together, but you can't imagine. Trump is great. He's more wonderful than we ever thought. It's getting even better. It's amazing. It's miraculous. Thank God. I am going to bring in a slight dark side of this, though. We got to pray for Trump. There's a black man in front of the White House. Pray for Trump.
I'm standing in front of the White House right now. I just want to challenge every pastor that sees this video to pray for our president, pray for America, and pray for what is happening in our country right now. So, Father, I thank you right now for this day, and I pray that you would touch our president, God, that you would touch this nation, that your Holy Spirit would be with us all, God. I thank you for what you're doing, and I pray that souls will be saved in Jesus' name. Amen.
Will you pray? This guy says the pastors, I want to call them to pray. I want to call the people to pray. My people. Pray for the White House. Pray for Trump. Pray for his protection. Because when this kind of good blows up, we all know he's got a target on him bigger than ever. The target on Trump is bigger than ever. And I'm talking about mainstream Democrats are starting to increase their aim against Trump. The devil himself, I would think, knows exactly he does not want Trump to continue to change the world to the good. Pray for his protection, guys. We all know there's a big target on him. He's super vulnerable. He needs supernatural protection. Here's Governor Tim Walz. It's Columbus Day, so all the Democrats are going completely nuts. They despise Chris Columbus, and Trump is bringing it back. So the goober, almost your vice president, Tim Walz, says, today is Indigenous Peoples Day. A time to honor the 11 sovereign tribal nations. Who? and the urban native communities that continue to enrich our state's cultural landscape, economy, and heritage, and those casinos. All I know about Native Americans is their casinos and fry bread. And he's like, their heritage, their national, they're not writing sitcoms on TV or movies. They're not they're not part of culture. They make casinos because they're outside of a state. They're their own sovereign nation. It was a beautiful morning to celebrate on the shore of Makaska. Look, there's their tribal drum there because they have to all act primitive. They got to act like cavemen. And this is my favorite comment from Salty Cracker. It's from The Shining. It's a boat coming into the door, and she's the Native American with the headdress on, and it's Chris Columbus peeking through. Here's Johnny. I love Salty Cracker. But I did find a better meme, Salty Cracker. Randy Barnett, happy Indigenous Peoples Day to the people of Israel, because Democrats despise the idea that they have a nation. I love it. Guys, these are great times, great days. Pray for our country. Pray for Trump. Thank God we have a window. We have a chance for peace. And I'm so happy to be here with you guys to share these families loving each other. You guys are part of my family. You're at least in my news family. I get to bring you the news. And I'm so thankful that you're watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Doug in Exile.